Hey guys, this is I'm I'm putting this in post edit to the review, sorry, but I kind of forgot while recording the review. Final Snap review. Yeah, oh Aiden, you can't forget about the Snap review. Everyone cares. But we gotta finish up the Hokkaido box. It's just awkward if you just don't finish it off, right? So it's Final Snap is this big pack of pastry looking things. We'll just eat one, obviously we're not eating the whole pack. And then we'll get right to the review, okay? This is future Aiden, and by future I mean like an hour or two in the future. This is Milk Bell Castella. Originally introduced by the Portuguese, Castella is now a national flavor. These bite-sized mini cakes come in a cute bell shape and perfectly balanced moist sponge cake with crunchy sprinkled sugar. I think we had some sort of Castella in the Hokkaido box, because I do remember a similar description with the Portuguese, but let's try these tiny and cute sponge cakes. Oh, wait, can you even hear me? Yeah, my mic is so far away. My mic is so far away. Smells good, kinda. Very sugary. Here's a closer look. Kind of like a UFO. A fat one, though. Mmm. Okay. I wasn't expecting much since it's a sponge cake, but the sprinkled sugar really adds the little kick. I think a sponge cake needs to be like good. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, good. I think overall this was definitely better than the first title box we had, so good job, Sakuraku. I did order one, so for the next anime we will be doing another snack review during it, so yeah, just wanted to finish off. Back to your scheduled content. Thanks for listening. Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to my review of Violet Evergarden. As of this review, we have seen the main anime series and the OVA, so this is not including any of the movies, just for context. And if you are new here, we have the full series reaction on the channel, timer based, and we have a bunch of other anime stuff. So check that out if it sounds interesting to you. But what did I think of Evergarden? For people who haven't watched the reaction, because you probably know. I thought it was excellent. I really loved it. I went into it, one of the rare times I went into something completely blind. I literally had no idea what it was about, besides the fact that there was a character named Violet Evergarden. Um, and I loved every second of it. I think that as far as an episodic show goes, this is definitely up there. One of the best. Anime, I should say. I should clarify. But it is one of the best. I think because episodic shows usually I tend to find that a lot of them have weaker episodes sprinkled within because, episodic means instead of just one story, one plot, each episode is its own little thing. Um, and it usually doesn't have a main plot, but a main idea the characters are working towards, which is obviously Violet learning about feelings, becoming a better auto memoir doll, and just de-soldierifying herself, basically. But and usually because of this split in focus, some episodes tend to be weaker than others. I would say in this anime, there were zero weak episodes. I think, in my opinion, maybe yours is different, but I thoroughly enjoyed every episode. Um, each one did a because formatting for episodic shows, each episode has to have a new interesting character most of the time, and or developing some of the side characters that stay throughout the series. Basically, Iris's or not Iris's. Well, technically Iris's coworkers, but I meant to say Violet's coworkers. Um, and they do a really good job at that. I loved all the side characters. Some of my favorites was the playwright and his dead daughter. Um, the daughter and her dying mother. I don't know why I like dying people. The stories were just like super emotional for me, for those specifically. Um, those are probably my two favorite episodes. It's kind of hard to remember everything. But even like some of the earlier ones, like Laculia's story was great. Like it does a very good job of expressing a well mixed well mixture of emotions. Like there was usually in an episode there's usually some comedic elements, like in the dying daughter episode. The montage of Violet playing with the daughter was very funny, even though the um overall messaging or overall theme of the episode is pretty sad. They do that well. They do the emotional aspects well, I would say. Um, Definitely for sure. I like to call it a roller coaster effect when a show or a story, goes up and down with the emotions rapidly changing. And I love that stuff. I think it's great. There are definitely some moments where fighting back some tears, though I did not cry. I will not cry on this channel in anime reactions because I guess I technically have cried in non-anime stuff. But anyways, I think it's very well structured and they're very good at storytelling in general. Obviously focusing more on character-based storytelling, but I do love that kind of stuff. Another huge point was the animation. It was freaking beautiful, man. I don't exactly know how it looked so beautiful. I think it's just like they did a really job incorporating 3D CG. I think I might be wrong, but I think a lot of it is 3D CG, and they just blended it so well and created the 2D art style with elements of the 3D. So it just all worked out, but it looked amazing. Like I talked about it a lot in the earlier episodes, and then I didn't really in the later episodes, just to like every episode looks great, man. I did point out the super picturesque moments, but in general, I would have to say this is one of the better looking anime I've seen, and I think, and it's awesome, dude. Um, Another really strong point was the soundtrack. The soundtrack was amazing. There were some really powerful songs. I would play it, but I think copyright stuff for anime, so I tend to avoid that in my reviews. But I definitely want to give it another listen just by itself. Um, if you know me, I like soundtracks that really stand out, get in your face, even disrupt the story a bit. Because there's two. There's usually that, or there's the ones that blend in more, um, which is fine too if you like those. But I like powerful, assertive soundtracks. And by powerful, it doesn't need to be like boom, boom, boom in your face. It can be like a happy or sad one. It just needs to be like noticeable, more noticeable than like some some other ones. I don't really have an example to give, but you probably know what I'm talking about, right? Um, and I love the soundtrack. There's a couple. I don't know what they're called. I should have probably researched them. If you watch my reaction, I usually point out um the ones I thought were good. Um, I don't want to hum it just in case I'm wrong, so I won't. But yeah, you can find it easily. It's a banger soundtrack. I think in general the voice acting was good. I don't know why for this one, but in my reactions we had a little fun looking up all the voice actors of the characters, the side characters. They got some serious talent, man. Um, but yeah, to be fair, voice acting isn't like my. It's not a factor that I care too much about in anime specifically. In like visual novels, I care more about it. But in anime, you do your thing. Usually, unless it's like bad or like super good, aka Mickey Ito, it usually doesn't bother me. But I do think it was generally pretty good. Um Aiden, do you have any complaints about the series? There's one, but it's not even like really a complaint. I just wish there was. I've said this throughout the series because I was certain they would do an episode on it, but they just didn't. Like I said, in the story I expected side characters being developed. aka we got Iris, we got an Erica episode 2. We got enough Hudgens for me to be satisfied. Gilbert, the brother, which was also great. Um, for the main like cast, we got nothing on Kat and Benedict, and I'll say it. I do think I like Kat and Benedict even more than Iris and Erica, and they got their own focus for an episode each. So I was very surprised we didn't get them. Like we got some information. They had a past. They helped found the company, but I was really surprised if you just didn't get any more in that. Get a little of the love triangle action, because I do think Kat likes Benedict, or maybe Hudgens. I don't know. It's kind of weird, but Erica likes Benedict. I don't know. It's odd. I wonder if they do touch on that in the two movies, maybe, or maybe they don't. It just seems like a weird choice, because they're like, at least in my opinion, the most likable of the co-workers. Though I do like all of them. I like Darius. I like Erica. Erica probably the least, but I feel like we got the least of Erica. And Iris is a memer, so. Also, we had no the Evergarden family really didn't get explored at all. I was so certain that they would spend an episode. Maybe Violet gets hired by the Evergarden to write a letter. Like, all we know is they're rich, Gilbert trusts them, and their son died in the army. We don't know who the son is. We don't really know anything about them. So I was for sure certain that would be like one of the later episodes, and develop them a bit more. But we didn't get that at all. So that's my complaints. I wish we got a bit more focus on those characters. It doesn't take much away. The Evergarden one doesn't take much away. It's more Kat and Benedict. But who knows? Maybe they do that in the movies, and if they don't, it's just an odd choice in my opinion. But for main story characters, you gotta love Gilbert's brother's relationship with Violet and how that developed, especially the last 3 episodes. That was really good. Um, Obviously, I thought the Gilbert and Violet thing was done really well, especially when Violet finally moves on. I think it was episode 9 or 10. That was awesome. That like they're just so good at that, man. Like, I love all the basics they've done. Like, I really can't find faults in that. Um, and I've come to like it more and more, because maybe like midway through, while I was enjoying it thoroughly, it's definitely not what I thought I would like in a story. I mean, I like episodic stories, and I did find it interesting, but it wasn't exactly my vibe. But it's grown on me so much that I think I love it. I think I love it. I think it might be. It's hard. I think this is in my top 3 episodic animes ever. The other two being Natsume, actually. And I'm just saying Natsume. Natsume is probably below this, but there's 7 seasons of Natsume. So if most of the seasons of that is good, that might just be the best. Just 'cause there's so much of it. And Jigoku Shoujo would be my other one. I think. I don't really have a list. I'm just from the top of my head. But this really hits different, especially compared to those two shows. This one, I think, more focuses on the sadness, and probably a bit dives deeper into the characters a bit, especially Violet. I don't think there was such a big character study on the main character in either of those shows yet. There was some growth, especially Natsume. I don't know about Jigoku Shoujo, but there's growth in Natsume, but this one, it was leaps and bounds, just because that was the whole focus of the story, right? Violet moving on from a soldier life, moving into a new era, along with the world that we saw in the peace treaty, and the OVA too, kind of focus on the same general message of moving on to a new era post-war sort of thing. But yeah, I thoroughly love the series. I'm so glad I just randomly picked it. I'm pretty sure I just typed in fantasy anime, and then I just chose that because I've heard of it before, right? I didn't know what it's about, but I've heard of it a lot, and some commenter mentioned it before. And to be fair, I don't actually really consider this fantasy. It technically is a fantasy world, but the fantasy elements are so minimum. It's just the environment and maybe the technology a bit, but it was really, you could definitely see it's basically just modeled after like the olden days. So it wasn't much fantasy, but it was still great in its own way. And I guess the language was a little different, writing wise, anyways. But yeah, if you're wondering, if you're on the channel and you're wondering, should I watch Violet? Oh, sorry, I guess I should have said spoiler warning, but I don't think I spoiled too much, to be honest. I would definitely recommend it. It's definitely worth your time. It's short. It's only 13 episodes, 14 if you watch the OVA. And then we have the 2 movies, which I will probably react to in the future. It's just a bigger time investment. But no, I thought it was excellent. It's definitely one of my favorites we've watched on the channel. To be fair, we've watched a lot of good anime on the channel, so I'm glad we're keeping up that tradition. I'm trying to aim for good anime instead of just memeing it up with like something like Cheer Boys. Um, but yeah, it's great. I would recommend it. I'm definitely saving it. Um, Maybe I'll watch in the future then. But yeah, great experience. And yeah. So if you're a current watcher, the next anime should be announced tomorrow on Saturday. Um, just a heads up, it's either season 2 of Natsume or some other anime. I don't know yet. I haven't decided on the time of recording this, but it should be good. And if you are new here, feel free to subscribe. This is a variety channel, but 3 days a week we do react to the current anime series we're watching. So while we don't have a huge variety of anime series ongoing, we tend to go through the main anime series relatively fast, right? Because usually people just react to like once a week. We hit 3 a week, so we finish like the standard 12er in like a month. So pretty fast paced here. And we have a variety of anime you can check out before. You know, we have Your Lie in April, we have Natsume Season 1, every Higurashi anime ever created, Cheer Boys, the only one on YouTube, and ID Invaded, and some movies. But yeah, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed, and hopefully I will see you in the future. Thank you for following me on this Evergarden journey if you've watched the reaction too. I appreciate it a lot. Have a great day, night, peace.